The first Sunday of Lent takes us all the way back to the beginning of human existence and to the beginning of Jesus' public ministry, the time leading up to it anyway, as he's tempted in the desert by the devil. In the fall of Adam and Eve, I always take this back to the lack of trust they had in God, or the doubt that the devil sowed in their minds about what God was about, their best interests. Remember, you can eat of any of these trees in the garden except for that one, because if you do, you'll die. The enemy sows doubt, and they say, yeah, we won't die. He just doesn't want us to eat that fruit because we'll be like him. They don't trust him to provide for them, so they want to become powerful themselves. They want to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. And so is the foundation of every sin and the sinful human condition from there on out throughout all of human existence. Now Jesus, on the other hand, he enters into this time of temptation and the time leading up to this public ministry in totally the opposite way. Completely and totally trusting in the Father's providence for him. What does he do? He makes himself weak. He's about to start this massive public ministry, this really difficult way of life, and ultimately, leading up to the saving act of his passion, death, and resurrection. And what does he do? He makes himself weak to be empty so that he can be filled with the life and the love of the Father's goodness, his providence for his Son. And even too, in a sense, in that temptation, he's weakened by his own experience of fasting in the desert. So that what? So that he can depend on the Father. Knowing that if he takes his life into his own hands, takes his needs into his own hands, he won't have what it takes to overcome the temptations in the desert. He won't have anything of what it takes to really provide for the needs of the world, the salvation of the world, and ultimately bring humanity back into union with God. So we see in that pattern of Jesus really what is the undoing of the fall in Adam and Eve, and what needs to be the posture of our own lives, and ultimately why we fast in the first place, why we take on these practices of penance during this Lenten season. It is truly, in a sense, to make ourselves weak so that we have no other option but to depend on the Father. So there's a lot of things that you can do as Lenten practices, but in recent years I've really just come back to, the time-tested, scripturally founded prayer, fasting, and almsgiving to gain a deeper awareness of our own weakness so that we may be open, receptive, and entirely dependent on the Father to bring us back into union with him and to fill us with every goodness and life and love.